Hey, what's up? We're back.
Aloha!
Aloha.
Aloha! What's going on?
I hope you're doing beautifully this day. And today we're going to have a beautiful topic. We're going to talk about how to get a business off the ground. To all
Yay!
those entrepreneurs, this is the topic for you. How are you, Sandra?
I'm amazing and I'm so happy to be part of this podcast that is going to help many entrepreneurs that are on the edge to go ahead and take the jump and do what they've been desiring to do. So I think that this we
Mm.
should call it something like the new entrepreneur of
Uh
the 2022 or something like that, or the 21st century,
huh.
something important because
Yeah, it sounds
well,
epic.
yes, what we're going to talk about here is not just the general stuff, but we're going to go deeper into the abyss.
So dramatic. I love drama, by the way.
Me
So,
too, me too.
yeah. Oh, okay. Amazing.
Okay,
So,
so JJ, tell me, how would you start if I was coming to you to ask you, oh, I want to start a new business,
mhm.
what would you advise me to do? What would you say? What would be the first steps to follow?
Okay, amazing. So we are going to do this like a conversation, like in each general idea. I'm going to ask like feedback, and we can talk through it back and forth.
For sure.
So the first thing that I will say that is not usual people talking about this is that I feel that a basic level of inner work or trauma release has to be done before.
100%.
Is crucial. I mean, if you are full of trauma, thinking that you are not valuable enough to win a penny, a dollar, you are going to mess it up. You're going to get in your own way really easily. Opportunities are going to come, and you're going to think, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not worth it. So why I even care? And you're going to go away. So first, you have to go inside, resolve certain trauma that you have, and we empathize because we know that it's not um, emotionally easy. You have a lot of emotions and all that, but it's something that you have to go through first. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to be a yogi or being perfectly healed. No, a basic level of trauma release has to be done. Okay, that's like the first idea. Then after, and you have to keep doing it in for the rest of your life or to a certain point
Forever.
forever.
Yes.
Then I feel that it's pretty crucial to, you cannot create something if you don't have anything in your mental bank account. Let's say that you have a bank account in your head that you fill with inspiration, information, principles, and so on. And it's not that you are not creative. You have two sides of creativity. The first side is just being able to relax and being open and taking action. And the other side is having something to work with, because creativity is just mixing two things. And you will need to be creative to do business. And you
Right.
also need to be fluid and effective. So, how you're going to develop this basic skill, you're going to read. And you need to
Nice.
develop the habit of reading. You will need help too. I recommend that you search first uh, for each. You will need to read about business in general, marketing, sales, and that's like the basic idea that you're going to read about. Uh, I'm going to recommend a book or two to start in the description that I find really helpful. And when you do that, you are going to see more possibilities. Then I think that you will need to, a basic skill is communication skills. So I try to focus a lot on skills first because are crucial. So to develop communication skills, the only way is to put it into practice and into action. Why do you need communication skills to be an entrepreneur? Because this is people sharing value with each other. And you need, I think that one of the next steps that you will need to follow is to find help or find people that will save you years or a lot of time, because they're going to point you where to learn or the right direction or something to do. So I would recommend just, you could search, for example, if you're a man, something that has helped me to improve my communication skills is Speak Up. That is, if you're a man, for example, and you could try this too as a woman, just research the natural lifestyles. I'm going to link that too for you. Or Owen Cook is a guy that I love with a huge L. Owen Cook. I really recommend him, and his friend that is Julian Blank. Those guys talk a lot about high vibe communication and high status communication, and basically trying to go out. At first, you could do it just very simple, say hi to people, no more. Like, hey, good morning, and nothing else. Then you could say, hey, how are you doing? Hey, what do you like to do? It sounds weird, but just saying what do you like to do is something that is much more interesting to people to talk about. And if they ask you, really, are you asking me what I like? Yeah. For example, I like music, I like EDM, I like reading about spirituality, and I love playing the guitar sometimes. What do you like to do? Okay, I like playing football. Oh, amazing. And so on. And what that is going to do for you, that you're going to be able to just let go, hear what ideas just come to you and flow naturally to you. And I think that that skill is going to be invaluable when you're going to talk with people, to do business, to network. And you can practice that. For example, a great challenge is 21 days, have 5 conversations every day.
Nice. I
I
love that.
Yeah,
With people that you don't know.
with people that you know, on a supermarket, on streets. And
Oh, I
believe
love
me, that's something that is not going to uh, the worst thing that people could tell you is that, are you crazy? And
it.
people
So
had
hang on.
thought,
I want to do this. Tell me again. How is this challenge?
oh, okay, amazing. So you just go to a place, a public place, uh, and you just see people, you see someone that you want to talk to. And at the
I love it.
beginning, it's going to be pretty scary. So what I recommend is
You
that,
hang on.
mhm,
You mean for them?
both. The first time that I did it, and what I did, it was focused on talking to women, but I'm trying
Oh,
to
nice.
expand that to people in general. Okay, I still want to do that, and I have done that with men, but very sparse. And with men, is just to talk in general. Some guy, I just say, hey, how are you doing? What do you like to do? And he was at the gym. He was a really big guy. Was one of the scariest things I've done in my life. Why? Because I usually have done that with an excuse. With a woman, oh, I think that you're beautiful, so I just want to talk because I have a reason to talk to you. But with a man, I don't want anything in exchange other than having a beautiful conversation or something like that.
Right.
So it was scary because I didn't have something to back up why I'm talking to you. So I did that. And what I found is that a lot of times I just project into people an ideal. I think that he's so huge, but he's a person like me. And that's something that will help you talking with people. It's going to show you that what you
Nice.
thought is just an idea and people actually are different. But that's going to happen with some time, because at the beginning, you're going to be, I'm just talking about what you're going to expect to make this easier. At the beginning, you're going to be full of fear. You're just going to say hello, and you're going to walk away pretty fast. And that's okay. And that's beautiful. And you're not going to see that you were projecting, because you're not going to give it like the time, and you're not going to do it slow enough. But then when you keep doing it, sometimes you're going to see that the person that you thought that was um, avoidant or was inflated, egocentric, actually is a person that you will love to talk to again, and that is a pretty good person to be a friend with, maybe. And you maybe start a friendship or a business relationship or a mentorship relationship, or you don't know. So
Right.
that's why it's useful. So that's, to put it in a very simple terms, go out every day, half an hour. It's pretty quick. If you don't get in your own way thinking, oh, should I talk to that one? No, I don't think so. Maybe no. If you just do it, because the worst thing that will happen is that the people think that you're crazy, and
Mhm.
that's not going to affect you in any way. Just do
I
it
am crazy anyway.
anyway. In half an hour or less, you will have 5 conversations.
Okay. For
So it's pretty
21
quick
days, right?
in 21 days. Yeah,
Okay.
21 days. Oh,
I'll
and
let
it,
you know how it goes next week on Tuesday.
oh, that's amazing. And you know what? I want to do it too. So let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Let's do it together.
Okay.
21 days. Amazing.
I'm going to record some clips and maybe we can play them here. Okay.
Okay. Ah, the video is hard. I'm going to record the audio, and maybe one day I'm going to go out with a friend, and I'm going, and
Okay.
that's going to be beautiful to share with people. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. Yes.
So we're
Okay.
going to
Thank
do
you.
that. And when you have that practice, you will have an energy that is not held back or held back by a lot of trauma. So you will have a lot of self-worth, a feeling of self-love. Also, you will have ideas and principles in your head because you read, and you will have high vibe, high status communication. Okay, so that is going to be a beautiful place to start. Now the nitty gritty business stuff. So when you have that, you will have to first have the test quick mindset, the mindset that is, the answers of your questions are outside and not inside. So those brands that just focus on perfection and perfecting a product 3 years in development and then release it, just
And it
do
flops.
a quick beta test that is very short, and they are not going to change anything, just the superficial things of the product.
Mhm.
They're going to fail, sadly, because the answers came from their suppositions or their assumptions and not from the people outside.
Right.
And that's the problem. So literally, there's a beautiful book that is called Sprint. And that book, in 1 week, has a prototype and a test. In 1 week.
Nice.
Monday, they just get all the information. Tuesday, they get all the inspiration. Wednesday, they draw and they get a prototype. In Thursday, they make the prototype. And in Friday, they test the prototype. Done.
Nice.
And they keep doing that. And every week, they iterate. And can you imagine the results? So that's what I recommend. So which product or service are you going to build? Where you could think about that, first focusing on your identity or first focusing on a niche market, a group of people. What I recommend is that first that you have done your inner work and you're still doing it, feel something that is aligned, a product that is aligned with yourself, because in that way you're going to talk from the heart. And then identify a market that is a small group of people, but that is big enough to pay the bills, you know what I mean, to give you the income that you desire. And you need to have clarity. You need to think about which income do you desire in the first place. Okay, that's crucial. And when you find a market that is aligned with the product idea that you have, and that product is something that you love, then you can move on. But before that, I want to share with you that if you don't have a product idea, you can repurpose a product. For example, that's a beautiful cat. I recommend you looking at the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss.
Oh,
He
I love
has,
that book. I
I
read
love it
that.
too. He
Hmm.
has the chapters on automation, testing and finding the muse, those chapters. He walks you through how to find a product. So you can relicense a product. For example, uh, you can have a product in the public domain and you can take it, change it, and then relicense it, and you can
Really?
release that product. And he talks
That's
to you.
incredible.
Yeah, and you don't have to make this process that hard. Like one of the
Hmm.
main ideas of Tim Ferriss is that how can I make this easier?
Right.
That's like his mindset, and I love that idea because sometimes the less of, or always the less options that you have, the more clarity that you have.
A
The more
hundred
options,
percent.
the more overwhelmed.
Confusing. Yeah, I agree. It's like going to the grocery
Mhm.
store here in the United States and you just want to get mustard, but there is at least different 20 different types of mustard with different flavors, and you're like, ah! But then,
Mm.
I've been places like in England, and you go to the store, and there is only three options, so it's so much easier to choose from. So I
No.
totally get what you're saying.
Amazing.
Okay,
And
so what
just like
else?
that. Uh, so read that chapter from the book, and it's going
Hmm.
to give you ideas of types of product. For example, you have informational product, you have a physical product, you have a service also. So that's helpful. And when you identify the product, then you identify the niche market that is going to be big enough to give you income, and is going to be a market that you can talk to. Then you're going to product design. You're going to very quickly have a prototype to that market that you identified. You're going to release it, and it's going to be cheap because it's a small product. It's what people call in marketing the minimal viable product. That is
Hmm.
basically a version of the product that is really simple,
Hmm.
so that you can test it really quickly. So you're going to do that. You're going to test it. You're going to learn from it, and then you're going to apply what you learn, and so on. And in that way, you're really effectively going to have a product that is the reflection of what the market wants, that is also
Nice.
aligned with yourself, that you also love.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the perfect recipe to start scaling your business. And that's where you have identified a product and a market that is scalable and that you're aligned with. And then the
Hmm.
startup, that is the company that just searches for a product quickly that he can
Hmm.
start scaling, becomes a company. And then you can start thinking about scaling your business and so on. That is like another story. You will need more management. You will need different departments, the sales, the marketing, the
Hmm.
CEO, and so on. But I think that what people are more focused in this discussion is to get the business off the ground, to find the product, and so on. And those are the basic ideas of this roadmap. I'm going to very simply lay this down in 1, 2, 3 list and upload it in the description, so you have a simple reference about this. But what do you think, Sandra, about these ideas or
So, like a
something?
PDF. I love if
Mm-hmm.
you give us a PDF of what you're talking about, so
Mm-hmm.
we can just download it. So I want to share my, because I've been in business for a long time.
Oh,
I
amazing.
want to definitely interject in
Mm-hmm.
what you said. So because I myself have so much trauma stored inside of me,
Yeah.
and I nobody ever told me this. I wish I would have met you back then, that I needed to resolve my trauma before I launch any business, because I was going to sabotage my success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and nobody told me that. So I go, I invest my money, I do all this stuff. Nothing, 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 nothing. I said, okay, maybe this is the wrong product service that I'm trying to do business with, let me change my mark.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, I change my mark. Bah! Invest all this money, branding, launching, everything. Not one goddamn piece. Because inside of me, I was rejecting my own success. I
Got
kept
it.
I kept doing all the stuff to succeed, but inside of me, there was a conversation. Nobody's coming. Nobody's gonna buy from me. No,
Mm.
if my mom couldn't love me, who's gonna love me? And I didn't realize that this was going down at a subconscious level. So I knew that if I could fix that in myself,
Mm-hmm.
then my business will take off. That's
Yeah.
at some point after I don't know how many years, because this thing was a month. This took years, and me failing and failing and failing and failing until I succeeded. But what I'm saying is, it was so important for me to um, release the I am not what my mind is telling me. I'm not the negative thinking. I am a possibility. I am a limitless possibility. So if I can
Uh-huh.
just understand that, and this is why I say that this our podcast is focused in the new entrepreneur, because that's what I was gonna say. The new entrepreneur will fix himself first, and when I say fix, I mean total acceptance, because we can't change the
Mm-hmm.
past, but we can accept it, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can, from that acceptance, we can say, well, you know what, this happened to me, but it's not my reality now. And I'm going to get to choose how I feel from now on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to take me
Totally.
to the challenge I'm doing right now for my the ice cold, the ice bath water, the ice cold, ice cold water challenge.
Uh-huh.
Because I wanted to reprogram my nervous system. So all our fears, all our uh, anything that is holding us back is stored in our limbic nervous system. Have you ever seen the picture of the brain and just the nervous system?
No, I'm
Oh
going
my
to search
God.
it.
It's so cool. We look like an
Mm.
alien, really, because
Okay.
we are. But
Uh,
this is the most important part of human life is the brain and the nervous system, because
okay.
our nervous system drive us. It drives
Mm-hmm.
us to stay home or to get out. It drives us to face things or to feel fearful.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and especially, which is something we talk about in the past in the past podcast, the importance of liberation at an earlier age. Like you're doing
Mm.
fantastic. By the time you're 30, you're gonna be in a whole different level
Thank you.
because
The
you're
podcast is
working
going
with.
to stop the Zoom call. Mm.
Okay,
Excuse me for that. I'm going to get Zoom, the premium, to avoid this. Call you back.
it's okay. We okay. Bye.
Three. Okay, we're back. So.
So as I was saying, I am constantly stating or enunciating to
Mhm.
the younger generation to look after their trauma, because otherwise you grow up and then you be 50 like me, and then
Mhm.
you still have all this unresolved trauma that haunts you, and it doesn't matter if you have money or not, because what
Mhm.
happens is you can become a millionaire and still have trauma. But what happens is, as you get older, the
Mhm.
money loses its senses, and that's when people should kill themselves because the
Mhm.
money is not enough.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm constantly telling people, yes, you can make your money, but work on yourself so that when you have this money, the money will augment your values, who you are, and it'll take you to a beautiful, wonderful heaven instead of a hot hell, because you're not aligned with who you are. You're only acting from a place of greed and power and money and accumulation. Whereas when you are your true self and you're
Mhm.
genuine and real, and then you go out there and you give value to people, you promote people into new aspects of their own life,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to feel amazing. And the money is
Mm,
just going to come in, and the money is going to work for you. And the more money you have, the more people you're helping. See the
yeah.
difference between just accumulating wealth and giving value, like, which is your purpose in life, right?
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing, but
So
it's true.
I definitely think that if nothing else you get out of the postcard today,
Uh-huh.
the most important thing is the self alignment, being accepting of the trauma that everybody has trauma.
Uh-huh.
Everybody has some kind of trauma, because this is what being a human is all about, overcoming our emotions and feelings. So when you can accept that what happened when you were young or older or whenever it happened to you, it didn't happen to you, but it happened for you so that you can transform, transcend, shift, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You will go from victim to victor. Yeah. Because you
That's
accept
beautiful.
that you are flawed. You're flawed, and there's nothing wrong with being flawed.
Mm, mm-hmm.
The thing is, society and the
Got it.
narrative says we have to be perfect, and the things have to be beautiful and aesthetic, and that you have to show up a certain way. So not only we have all the unresolved trauma, then we have the conversations that society is trying to program and convey. So it's
Mm-hmm.
super important to know who you are, what you want, where you're going, and to know that your traumas make you the beautiful human being that you are. You wouldn't be who you are if it wasn't for your trauma. And when
Okay,
you
got it.
accept it and transcend it, making money and attracting the opportunities that you want into your life becomes effortless.
Okay. So in your
And
trauma is your essence in a way.
yes, 100%. And then
Mm-hmm.
you choose whether you want to stay a victim, because when we are when we have this trauma stored inside of us,
Mm-hmm.
there is victimism, right?
Yeah.
Nos
Victim mindset.
sentimos nos sentimos víctimas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Bec-
feel ourselves like the victim all the time.
yes. And then when you're in a victim, you cannot attract anything other than more abuse, because you're a
Oh,
victim.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's sad.
So
Well, it's what it is,
it,
but it's something
well,
to heal,
it, yes, it's something to pay attention to,
to pay attention
because
to.
being a victim is not good or bad. It's
Yeah, I
just
get it.
what it is.
Uh-huh.
But how is that feeling serving you? And that's the
Mm-hmm.
question that as an entrepreneur, you have to ask yourself when you're trying to launch a project and you're feeling stressed, you're feeling angry. Stop
Of
for a
course.
second and ask, how is this feeling and emotion serving me to my project? And then maybe if it's not serving you, stop. Because some people want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing when they're not even aligned with the product, with what they're doing, with their what they're trying to sell. So
Totally.
that's where most business will fail in the first 3 years being alive, because most people want the success but don't feel worthy of receiving it. So
Mm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
impossible to if you're not coherent with what you want, what you say, what you feel. It's impossible if you're saying I want this, but inside you feel like I'm not worthy of it.
Yeah,
How is it gonna show up? It's impossible.
it's impossible.
So I just want to say the last thing.
No, that's
The
amazing. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think the only thing that I like about Donald Trump is that he believes he is the best, and that everything that he does is amazing, and
Okay.
he's his own self prophet, because he said I do this, and then he does it, and people will either hate him or love him, but he remains faithful to who he is, which is an arrogant
Um,
prick. But he's
uh,
aligned with that.
I get it.
So he's successful because of that, because he feels he embodies who he is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with luck or anything like that. It's your presence. using that energy, that life energy to find your self-worth, your
Mm-hmm.
self-value. When you find yourself valuable and worthy, business will come to you without effort. All the time. Guarantee 100%. You can sell your products for $10 or $10,000. People are going to find value in what you're selling because you're irradiating that worthiness, that I
Yeah.
deserve it. Yeah. So definitely want to form new entrepreneurs. They believe in themselves, they have self confidence, and they accept they're flawed and they're not perfect and they may be a little bit ugly too.
Okay, they are a little bit ugly. That's okay.
And then that means it could be ugly a little bit in the heart or in the face, because we're half good, but we're half bad too.
Yeah, it's
So that's
amazing.
what I will definitely, as an entrepreneur and a woman, and being through all the trauma and all this
Mm,
stuff, I wish I would have found someone like you that would say, Sandra, don't invest your money. Don't, you're going to fail because you need to work on your trauma
yourself.
first. And then in the meantime, what I want to say is I have paid thousands of dollars in coaching programs and how to
Uh,
do this. And none of them helped me because that's not what I needed. What I needed was acceptance of the trauma that I was experiencing. And it wasn't until I did that that everything else expanded.
mm.
So it doesn't matter if you spend $100,000 in a mentorship. If you're broken inside, don't go to Tony Robbins.
No, don't go. Yeah,
That's
I
what I
love
would
those
say.
ideas. What I'm also thinking about is that, for example, let's say that is a person that knows that wants to go to that path, but doesn't know how and doesn't have the resources. For example, uh, we need a lot of times help when we have all those trauma, and we really empathize with you if you're one of those, because probably because a lot of people have trauma. uh, because that's a hard situation to be in. I'm still dealing with a lot of and healing a lot of parts of myself. What I will recommend first, and it's a basic exercise, just take a paper, a pencil, and write I forgive myself for,
Oh, I love it.
and keep saying whatever comes to your mind. And at the beginning, you're not going to believe that you forgive yourself for that. You think, I'm just writing this, but this is, I'm so bad. I'm so flawed. I'm not forgiving myself for this. Just write, even though you don't feel that you're forgiving yourself about it. That's the point. And you can have that as a habit too. After you go out and talk to people, come back, or do it before, because in that way you're going to go out with an energy of self-love. Before going out, you're going to write I forgive myself, write at least 10 things, and do that, and you will see that you will see a change. And the other thing is that, do that, and if you don't have resources right now, literally you need to sometimes you need to see that if you keep going in the same pattern all your life, things are not going to change, are going to keep getting worse. I know that is hard, but it's sometimes tough love, because sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you are
Mhm.
just stuck in the same rut or the same pattern, same routine that is affecting you. So what you will need to know is that to attract change or healing, if you don't have the resources right now, you need to give like a channel to receive. So you need to start going out and talking with people. That's something, because that's a channel in which you're going to be able to receive, or talking forums about trauma release or something like that. Whatever you're working on. And when you have that habit of forgiving yourself, you have a clear intention, and you can meditate, have practice, and so on, and you have the intention to heal yourself, you will attract change and help and people and opportunities and so on. So you are not going to uh, self-sabotage yourself when an opportunity comes your way, and so on. So that's an idea that I had for a person that is in that situation. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I love the exercise. I like that you're telling our audience what to do as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I love writing. I think writing
Mm.
is one way to express ourselves, and I also love, for me, is
Yeah.
when you say communicating. So expressing yourself. I always believe that if you talk to yourself, okay, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that you're trying to get in tune
Uh,
with your your soul. But
yeah.
when you talk to yourself, like I doing the ice water challenge.
Yeah.
I when I'm submerged in that cold water, I talk to my body and I tell it, "I love you. Please help me become this person that I want to be by aligning my emotions." And I'm telling you, it's like I feel so different from the very first day that I started to today, and it's
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like finally I'm doing the thing, I'm pushing through, and my body, my emotions are finally aligning with the true person that I want to become, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the funny thing is that you never ever finish working on yourself. If
Mm-hmm.
if you're one of those people like me, I've been working on myself forever. I love it. I adore to challenge my vitality. I like to see how much I can push myself in wellness, not in
Mm-hmm.
self-destruction because I already did that.
Okay, I
But
got it.
how much can I run? How much can I exercise? How long can I stay without speaking? How long can I contemplate? So I'm challenging myself to do better, bigger, and more passive things rather than because somehow some of the gurus they're teaching business are very feisty
Mm-hmm.
and they want you to use your force
Mm-hmm.
and to be forceful and to do this and to have this, whereas I think the approach should be use your power and be gentle and kind
Okay,
because I believe we attract more with honey than not.
got
You
it.
put a little honey out there, people come running. But
Uh-huh.
if you put something that smells bad or tastes bad, nobody's gonna want to touch it.
Got it.
So, and be an entrepreneur that that is driven but not aggressive.
Mm-hmm. It's like the
Yeah.
approach to meditation. Have you heard about being effortless? Like the more you make an
Yes.
effort doing meditation, the more resistance that you have, the more tight you become, and so on. So you need to learn to let go and just make action that is effortless. I think that is like the same approach to life and to business. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes. So one of
Mm-hmm.
my main things that I teach, which
Mm-hmm.
it sounds weird, but I tell the more you release your trauma, the more you work on your silence and quiet your mind, the more effortless your life will become. And
Mm-hmm.
it sounds weird, but it's true because you know why we have to put so much effort into doing things? Because our mind is always talking. Blah, 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 la, la, la. And you're like, oh, I got to make an effort to do this because, blah, blah. But if you don't pay
Okay.
attention to what she's saying, she's saying, and you just chill, then you do things and you're not hurrying, there is no timeline, there is no deadline. You're just doing the things for the pleasure of doing them. And then
Okay.
things happen like magically.
Yeah, literally. Literally, we are
So,
getting ourselves in our own ways. And
yes.
when you start letting go, things
Hmm.
start to just happen. And you will just, the nature of ourselves is not to be lazy. We sometimes are lazy because our minds are racing and so on. But when your mind is clear, your nature is to just flow, flow with nature, and nature is
Yes.
active. Nature heals itself. itself. And you will do the same thing. You will give value, receive value, and just flow, and things are going to work. And you will not have to make things hard when actually it can be done really easily. That's like
Mm-hmm,
the main point.
mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm.
So I'm very happy that we are helping people because I'm sure there's some of their listeners are going to identify with what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I wanna leave a message saying if you need help, if you have no resources and don't know where to go for help,
Mm-hmm.
write to us, hit us up, and I'm sure I can help you
Yeah.
hook up with an entity or a person that can help you transcend. So because at the end of the day, what you and me, what the podcast is trying to do is to uplift people and create the new version of the entrepreneurs that we see fit for the future.
Sure.
That's how I see it. Yeah. People that are
Yeah.
aligned with themselves and then they go into the world and then they do business to enhance other people's life as well.
Yeah. To give value, to receive value. That's beautiful.
It's like a butterfly effect. We are the butterfly.
Your butterfly, beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that that's it for this
For
podcast.
today, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was very
Was
interesting. Thank
a
you.
marvelous experience to share with you
Yes.
this this volume and with the audience. Thank you so much for hearing up to this point. And check out the resources. Hit us up in the message, in the comments, or to ourselves. We are more than happy to talk to you. And yeah, till next time. Talk to you
Yes.
soon.
Until next time, and let us, if somebody wants to come
Uh-huh.
and be a guest, please let us know. We're looking for
Uh-huh.
people to want to talk and share their experience, and that way we can have fun.
Yay! That will be amazing for sure.
Yeah.
Let us
So
know.
thanks for watching and listening. We love you.
Yeah. Much love. Have a beautiful
Bye
day.
bye. Ciao.